So, first question, because this has been asked multiple times. Right now, for any company, small size to medium size, it becomes quite a choice when it comes to how to manage, operate, and host their own services. Any company is gonna operate, it will require essential services. For example, they're gonna need, Active Directory, they're gonna need an email server, they're gonna need a form of file share, and they're gonna run their own applications like documentation application, company business operation application, and a lot of stuff. So this is just an essential and the first steps of how the company gonna start its business. So the question is how to run these services. Of course, small companies can actually hire or rent these services from service providers. They can obtain email from one provider. They can obtain other services from other providers, but this is very suitable for like a very small kind of business. Sometimes you need to operate your own servers. You need to have full control over your Active Directory, over your own email server, over your own stuff. You really need to run your own servers. In other words, you need to run Microsoft Active Directory at your company. You need to run Exchange or IMAP server at your company. You need to run all of the other database applications. You need to run whatever database you're going to use, whether it's Microsoft or Oracle, whatever. So a lot of servers are going to need to be running from your company. And this presents the first question, the first essential question. Do I host these servers at my own company premise location? Shall I put them in the premises of the company and have my IT team have full physical and operational control of the servers from their own HQ IT location? This is one, and this is probably that have been going for decades right now to host this in the IT room. Or shall I go into the new direction? Shall I host these servers on the cloud, on one of the largest providers of the cloud? Like in our session today, like Microsoft Azure, or any other competitor, whatever, like Amazon, like Google, like Oracle Cloud. You have multiple choices of where you really need to host. You can host your service. So which is better? Not the question. Which of these options is better for you and for your company? And this puts quite a challenge because the answer is not an easy going. Hosting the servers at your own company has its own advantages, that's for sure, but it has become quite disadvantaging on the long term, on the operation, technological challenges, and stuff like this. And we will be discussing this comparison right now. And I'm actually maybe I can add a basic documentation here to make this comparison so you can tell which option is better for you, which one that can actually work best for you. So let's take a look on the comparison here and see which one is going to be better for you and discuss every aspect of what can be better to operate your own system as a company. Because at the end of the day, it comes to one major factor: cost. Operation cost is really important of how to run your own servers in your company. So we're gonna discuss this section about logistics, how to handle this section, and how to make the proper decision of how to host your servers. And then we will move on to the technological section of this session of actually hosting some servers on the cloud. And the purpose of this is just to show you how to build your own micro data center on the cloud. It doesn't matter what kind of server you are hosting, as long as you understand the mechanics and the options, features, and the technological aspect of how to do it on the cloud. And also, there is really one interesting factor here. While this session is mainly on Microsoft Azure Cloud, actually, all of the top competitors of the world for cloud providers usually use similar systems. Yes, they are not identical systems, but they are similar systems. So this means it doesn't really matter which one you're going to choose at the end. It will be a personal preference or a technological preference, depending on what technologies you are seeking, what technologies you are looking for. Cost-wise, it's hard to tell. Cost-wise, it's hard to tell because it depends really. There are like so many factors here when it comes to cost. Which one is really cheaper? Which one is more economical? No one can actually tell because stuff like this can be made on a case study depending on what exactly you need to host, what you need to run in your company or for your own business. So let's discuss the logistics for a little bit and start with after this for the technological part. So I made this table here as an easy way to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. Let's take a look on some of the points. And these are like the points that came into my mind. So maybe there are other factors, but I think these ones are like the most important factors in selection between building your own servers on the cloud or on site. So let's talk about on site. What if you want to purchase and buy servers, local servers to place at your own company, at your own enterprise? What are the advantages and advantages of this selection? So building your own servers at the site. The advantage section, you have ownership. Ownership means that you own your own servers. You own them. They are yours to have. They are like you make the purchase, and these servers are yours for life. This is like one advantage of having an option to actually build the servers at your own company. You own the servers, you own the licenses, you own the applications, you own everything. You are the owner of all of these equipment, devices, assets, and everything. This is considered an advantage, in my opinion. The second thing is about physical control. You have full physical control over these servers. You can do whatever you like. You can do whatever hardware changes you can imagine. Everything is going to be placed at your own physical IT room. So your team will be having full physical access to do whatever it's like to the servers. This is also, I consider, an advantage because, as you know, on the cloud, you don't have actual physical advantage. You have ways to do control over your servers, but you don't have physical control over your servers. Now, one of in my consideration, the best advantage, the top advantage of building your own small micro data center is that once you finish the process of building your own data center, the running cost becomes very, very low, close to non-existent. Yes, there are some running costs for sure, renewing licenses, changing of field equipment, changing field drives, whatever, but the running cost is really, really low on a yearly basis. So the running cost after you pay for all of the equipments and all of the devices and make the implementation, the running cost is really irrelevant at this stage. It will take many years for the running cost to actually start making a sound or making some concern to you. So I consider this the most important advantage when it comes to hosting your own servers. Now, the last point here, in my opinion, is hosting your own servers make it more secure for your own data, but it isn't at all. Meaning that you can host your own servers and still get seriously in a hacking situation, in data theft situation, data leak situation. So it is not really a factor here that holding or hosting your own servers at the company premises means that you are more secure than the cloud. Now, this is not just a plain comparison because as you know, if you aren't gonna host your own servers, you need to run your own security measures, your security solutions. You have to deal with it. So it isn't really perfectly secured. But I put it here for another reason. I put this point here because many service providers and many business owners do not yet like the idea of placing their own data on the cloud. And this is why I put it here. The mentality and fundamental understanding on the cloud that a company would put all of its data or operation data on the cloud. And this data is quite sensitive. It belongs to the company owners, company customers, contract details, very highly sensitive financial data. So many business owners and business providers are not yet at the point of giving up all of this data to be stored somewhere else outside the company parameters. That's the idea. That's why I put it here. For example, banks probably not gonna go full cloud for this reason, because a bank is not gonna put all of the details about customers and financial data and corporate financial data on the cloud. So banks are very kind of restrictive when it comes to cloud. They definitely gonna go for on-site option. However, banks can use some cloud services. They can, for example, have email servers and Active Directory. They can have some of their own operation running on the cloud. But at the end of the day, banks, government sectors, anything that's really, really highly sensitive kind of business operation, probably gonna go for on-site. However, things are changing, time is changing, and some companies are taking this quite leap of faith and they are moving into cloud, even though they are using and they are processing kind of sensitive data. Some banks have moved to the cloud. So at the end of the day, I just saw that putting this point here is quite important. Now let's go to the disadvantages when it comes to building your own servers at your own company. Now, this is probably the most important factor, which is very high starter cost. The problem when you start your own new company or start to upgrade your current servers, you need to purchase new servers, and it's not cheap. It's very expensive. And today, with the current economical stages and economical states, inflations and all of these factors, upgrading or starting from scratch is really problematic for business owners on all levels. I'm not only speaking about small companies or mid-range companies, even large companies, because the larger you go, the more resources and physical resources you need. A small company probably gonna need a very, very small micro data center. However, a large company is gonna need quite large count of servers. And large count of servers need large count of resources like storage, network appliances, security appliances, everything. So you are talking about millions of cash here in order to build your own very beginning data center. And many business owners really struggle and really find the step very challenging, because usually when a company is starting its new business, it does not really need all of this stuff. But the problem is, if you're gonna buy servers, you have to buy them from day one with the capacity and stuff that you think that gonna serve you for at least near future, like several years, at least like 5 years in planning. You can't just buy something that serves you for a very short period. That's not gonna be good investment. So this is like the very challenging point when it comes to starting your own business or upgrading. You could be running your own servers right now in your own company, but time has come, technology evolved very fast, there are new things every day, and your servers are no longer capable of delivering the performance or the services that are needed for your business. You need to move on. You need to remove the current old and legacy servers, and you need to replace them with the new stuff. And as you know, many companies for the past decades have depended on using many companies have depended on using bare metal servers. One physical server for each service, like one server for Active Directory, one server for database, one server for file sharing, one server for security access, one server for application. So you have these separate physical. This is like very, very old kind of server implementation. Today, when we're gonna go for an on-premises on-site implementation, probably you're gonna go hypervisor solution like VMware or Hyper-V or whatever kind of hypervisor provider you prefer. So, and this is not easy. This is not cheap. You're gonna need really, really powerful servers, really, really dependable storage solutions. There are really, really many factors here, and a lot of costs need to be paid. So this is definitely so it's definitely important to really overcome this serious problem. And it doesn't actually stop here. You also have another disadvantage when it comes to scaling. Scaling is the, like, if I would consider this the worst problem here about local running servers, scaling's come to number 2 right away. Scaling is a really, really, in my opinion, the most challenging factor of running IT business right now. Because when you need, what if you need more storage? And it's simple physics. There is nothing you can do about it. You can't make a room for it. At the end of the day, your storage is running low. You need more storage. So there is no solution. You'll have to buy additional storage solution. Whether you're gonna buy just hard drive or maybe an entire storage system. So basically, on the go, as time goes on, you'll see that if your business is expanding, you're gonna need more storage resources, more compute resources, more application licenses resources, and so on. So scaling is really challenging when it comes on hosting your own servers on site. It means more cost over the time, over the years. So it's just one of other challenges that you need to consider. Moving on to data protection. Data protection will be your own responsibility, and it's an added cost. Because I'm not talking here about data security or security breaches. I'm talking about data protection from physical loss, like hardware failures or accidental failures, hazardous failures. That's what I mean. So if you lose one of your hard drives, if you lose one of your storage medias, it's really your own responsibility to have backups of the data. And this adds more storage and more data storage resource requirements. That's a problem. So not only you need to purchase enough storage for your business needs, you also need more storage to have them as backup. It's like you are buying double of what you need and actually paying exact money for the double of what you need in order to maintain full backup of your business. And that's a requirement. Backup is like a requirement of any business. You cannot run business without backup. So moving on to physical loss. Physical loss is really a problem with any local or on-site implementations. The day will come, one of your servers will fail, and you will have to replace it. As simple as this. And there is nothing you can do about it. Whether the failure is natural or hazardous, it doesn't matter. It happens all the time because that's the way it is. It doesn't happen often, but it will happen. So once the physical loss happens, it needs to be replaced right away in order to continue your business on the same level, unless you have already made your space by purchasing additional resources from the beginning, so you don't fall under shortage in performance. So this is also an added issue here that you need to handle the physical loss. Moving on to network limitation, and this one is really also really important. When you host your servers in your own company, they are reachable from this single point, from the physical location where you have placed your servers. So you are under the limitation and network specifics from this location. If you are hosting your your servers and data center in a location that suffers from any kind of network limitation, network speed limits, bandwidth limits, or anything, depending on the network providers in your area or region, your IT your servers will suffer from this limitation. And also, you have a single point of failure here. What if the region or area that you operate on faces like a network outage or electrical outage or something like this? Solutions to actually solve this kind of issues is to have multiple connections with multiple providers, use kind of high premium solution from providers to prevent disconnectivity and stuff, but still you are under the limitation of the regional specs of your own location. That's a problem, and many providers right now have their own limitation when it comes to bandwidth limits, quotas and whatever. So you need to have this in your mind. And actually, if you are building your own servers and having your company provide services, and you need to have, for example, a solution that solves an issue of an outage of one of your service providers or IT servers, you will have to build multiple locations. That's the only way. You will have one like HQ location for your servers, and you will have to build another secondary small branch of servers that can actually operate at the time where the main HQ is down for some reason. And that's an added cost. That's a serious added cost. You are actually building two locations now. And of course, at the end of the day, if you're gonna hold your own servers and run them at your company, you really need highly skilled IT team, because network IT team, administration IT team, technological IT team, depending on what the kind of servers and service you are providing, you're gonna need a team, and a good team here to actually operate the services and business that you are gonna go. Without a highly skilled IT team, problems will happen right and left. And I cannot stress enough that hiring less skilled IT team means serious problem. I have seen many companies suffer from having really, really low level of IT team. And the reason here is that some business owners, maybe because business owners usually are managerial perspective, they are not technological perspective. So they try to save costs. They wanna save costs from any options they can find. So the problem is when they hire an IT team, maybe they make, I don't know, maybe they do not make a proper sizing for how the IT team would look like. For example, an highly skilled IT personnel probably gonna cost money, gonna cost really, he would have really quite high demands when it comes to his salary requirements and even other benefits. So business owners need to have a good selection when it comes to cost. And the problem is some of these business owners follow this process to HR personnel. And HR personnel, maybe some of them, of course, are not related to the IT business. So at the end of the day, I have seen a lot of problems when it comes to IT personnel. Many companies do not hire enough skilled IT team to do the job, and we are talking about serious technological aspects here. Without the proper IT team, things will fail, things will not work correctly, and the business will suffer. That's the problem. So let's see now on the opposite, the advantages and disadvantages of holding on the cloud. So what if I'm gonna go to the cloud, whether it's Azure or other cloud provider or cloud in general? So the best point here that when you move to the cloud or select the cloud, the starter cost is almost non-existent. That's the best about using the cloud. When you use Azure, Amazon, or whatever cloud provider you like, you can place your servers right away. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna show you today that we are gonna build some services in less than 1 hour or maybe 1 hour and they all gonna be operational and they're gonna be delivering service right away. And I'm not gonna pay anything about it. Nothing, at least at this moment. That's what makes it really, really strong, really, really powerful. For any starter company right now that doesn't have enough cost or financial strength to actually build a local servers or an IT data center fully operational as their own company, this is the best what they can get. This is really a best solution for them. They can start right away from the cloud, offering their own services, whether they are offering it internally for the staff or externally for customers. They can use it right away, at least for a certain time. Maybe until business reach an acceptable volume, maybe until they are ready to host their own servers. It doesn't matter. A starter on the cloud is really, really, really cheap. You can actually start right away, and there are even solutions and offers from from cloud providers to actually start for free. There are free features and services that are available from day one. Of course, the free offers are very limited. However, they are enough to get you started. That's what I mean. Another really, really good, which I consider it attached to the first point, is instant implementation. Whatever kind of server specs, whatever kind of service specs or service type that you need, probably they are already available on the cloud. They are already. You don't need to do anything. You just select it, operate it, run it. It's ready. In few minutes, if you know exactly what you want, it takes few minutes, and you're actually gonna see this right now in action. For example, what if your company needs an Active Directory? You need to run an Active Directory right away, so your staff can start logging to the Active Directory, and you start providing permission and anything, any kind of service coming as a standard service coming from Active Directory. Of course, if you're gonna do it on an actual server, you need a physical server first. You need to set up Microsoft Windows Server, and you need to move it up and upgrade it to an Active Directory domain controller and start creating whatever you like from users. It's a process. However, on the cloud, it's a double click. That's all. You're gonna choose Active Directory services, and there are multiple ways to actually do it. Azure Cloud already have its own Active Directory already running, and you can actually start right away, or you can actually run a Microsoft Windows Server virtual machine as an Active Directory. You have the two options, and it's really, really quick. That's how cloud is really, really good. When you use the cloud, whether it's Azure or other, you are dependent on using really, really advanced devices. The physical and the specs of the servers are really, really strong, really, really state-of-the-art, renewed and renovated all over the time, and even all of this happen without your intervention. If you are running your servers right now virtually on the cloud, and Azure upgrades its hardware, the upgrade will happen without even you noticing the upgrade, because this is actually how the cloud works. You don't need to worry about any hardware or any upgrades or whatever. So you are using really very powerful resources here. If you are using the other option of hosting your own servers, you will be limited to the specs you paid money for. That's the difference. But here, you are not doing this. You are using whatever you need at any time you need, state-of-the-art technology, running on really, really powerful resources here. Now, scaling here is my consideration for really the second most powerful point here in running on the cloud. Why? Because one of the issues and challenges that meet business owners today, that they don't want to invest millions of cash of hosting servers and stuff from the day one. They are starting the business. They want to start the business. They want to see income and revenue coming, and then they want to upgrade and make technological expansion. That's what they want to do. Probably most business owners dislike the idea of just paying a lot of money from day one to build servers. What they want to do is that, hey, I want to get my business running today and make revenue. And once I make revenue, I'm going to start making plan for actual servers. That's most of business owners may think about. So cloud gives you this opportunity. You don't need to buy all servers right now. You don't need to buy all licenses or resources right now. Just get what you need. That's the beauty of it. If you need like a couple of servers right now, couple of services, couple of solutions, get them right away, and run it right away, so your business can start. That's the beauty of it. And while you go on, if your business the volume of business start to increase, no problem. You can scale up your resources. The server that you have been using on the cloud can be automatically scaled. For example, if you have, selected one of the virtual servers with 8 gigabytes of RAM, that's a very simple example. Now you need to expand the server and make it 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's a double click on the cloud. That's all what you need to do. Scale it, double click, move up to 16 cloud. No downtime, maybe a very, very little couple of minutes downtime, few minutes downtime for the virtual machine to restart. However, that's it. You stop the virtual machine, increase its memory from 8 to 16 or whatever you need, turn on the virtual machine. That's as simple as this. If you need additional virtual machine, no problem. You can scale another one. Also, scaling is not just one direction, which is up. Scaling also goes down. If you are running multiple servers right now and suddenly, for example, business have been going a bit slow, it's off season kind of for whatever service you provide, maybe you no longer need this additional server, it's time to turn it off and not pay for its cost. That's the beauty of hosting on the cloud. So scaling, I'm calling here scaling heaven, because really this is very, very advantage kind of factor when it comes to cloud. And this is why many business owners see cloud really beneficial here, because when it comes to scaling, I can expand my resources or shrink my resources as the way fit my business. This option is not available when you actually choose the other option of on-site. On-site, you actually purchase static volume of technological resources and you have to use them. Scaling is not a really big deal here. That's why I put it in the disadvantage. Moving on to network access. When you use cloud, you depend on the back-end network resources of the cloud. And this is huge. This is really huge. You are using state-of-the-art, the fastest internet connection on the planet when you are using the cloud. Microsoft Azure has close to 20 data centers around the world. They are connected with the fastest internet speed of whatever you can think of. So this is kind of resources that you have. And also one of the things that makes cloud really beneficial is that you can have multiple access to your resources. For example, if your business is providing regional services, you are giving your businesses at different geographic locations, you can create an entry network access point at each region with a very low cost. So it's like running a connectivity from different locations. This actually makes it very good. For example, if you want to provide your services into Europe and you want to provide your services into the US, then you can make 2 entry points here. You can host in Europe, host in US, and this will solve latency, this will solve network performance, and will make your server even better. Also, data access here comes for high availability, because all clouds provide state-of-the-art, already running high availability solutions. Meaning, what if the data center of one of the Azure data center becomes down? It never happens, but what if it happens? There is no problem. There is already a solution which is called a replication solution. A replication solution means that right now, while the servers are running, virtual servers are running on one location, on Azure Cloud, they will be automatically replicated to another physical region. And they will keep an updated copy of all of your servers that's running. If the original area or original location become unavailable, the secondary location becomes active right away, automatically, without your intervention. And that's provide high availability even without your concern. That's what makes it really good, because this is not your concern to handle. Everything I have said is totally automated, totally automatic, on the house, provided to you. Yes, there are of course cost for running these kind of services, but consider this cost compared for actually building 2 sites completely by yourself. 2 sites, the cost totally on you, Dan. So you need to put that in mind. Data loss protection is also one of the benefits of hosting on the cloud, because everything on the cloud is replicated locally, replicated to Azure storage, and you can choose which option is good for you when it comes to data loss. You can use a standard backup option, you can use premium backup option, you can use premium backup option to a different location. You have a variety of options here to replicate your data. So in case of data loss, you can have an updated copy ready for you. And the cost is also really good compared to actual cost you're going to pay if you buy additional storage resources. Now, here is one I consider minor, that the IT team running at your company will not need to be really highly skilled, highly professional, like 10, 15 years of experience. You don't need that, because most of the servers will be actually running on the cloud. Everything related to the servers will be handled by agents themselves. They will not be handled by you. You will be just doing the administration part. You will be like creating policies, creating users, creating folders, providing the services. That's what you're going to do. You're going to fix your own application. But when it comes to the servers, the connectivity, the switches, the storage, no, you are not going to handle any of these. So your own IT team doesn't need to have the skills to do this stuff. This is actually a good plus. So what are the disadvantages of hosting on the cloud? Well, I would consider this the number one disadvantage is that you have no ownership of nothing. Really, you don't own anything on the cloud. That's what I consider really the worst. I don't know. I think this is the worst factor, that you don't own anything. So while you are running your business, you are paying for cloud services for all of your business, but at the end of the day, you own nothing. After years of operation, if you don't continue paying for the service will simply be disconnected, and you don't own anything. So maybe this is something to put in your consideration on the long run, because many business owners do not like the idea to pay concurrent repeated money on the long term, and at the end they don't own anything. They consider this kind of loss. So maybe this is a factor. However, this factor here might be put on site with this factor here. So it's a trade. You are starting with almost zero cost, but you are not owning anything. So a factor to consider. Now comes next a number two, and this one actually I'm not gonna call it number two. These 2 points are actually the same. They are as important as each other. Very high running cost. And I'm calling it here very high running cost because you are actually paying by the hour here. You are paying for everything you own from the cloud by the hour. Time by the hour is a standard cost and measurement unit on the cloud. So you are paying really by the hour for every aspect and everything on the cloud. And this is considered very high. Yes, it is considered very, very high cost. Because the thing is, which makes it challenging, that it's kind of annoying to know that by the hour every day you are paying for everything, and they charge for relatively for the reality for everything. They charge for the compute, they charge for the IP addresses used, they charge for the bandwidth, they charge even for this, of course, for the storage. That's definitely, they charge for everything. So it's like every day passes and you are paying money for this ongoing daily cost. So is it a disaster? No, but it's really, really an important factor. And this is why we're gonna take a look at how to monitor and how to keep an eye on your running cost. Because if you don't keep an eye on the running cost on the cloud, you are in a big trouble. You're gonna fall really in a big trouble, because it's easy, very easy to fall into mistakes when it comes to the cloud. Hey, I like the server, I'm gonna run it right away to run my service on. But you forget to actually make a correct calculation of how the server and all of the costs that come with it, how it will cost. So I'm gonna show you how to monitor your cost, and I'm gonna show you how to actually have some tricks of saving some cost on the cloud, on Azure. This is really I consider this to be really hot topic or something that we discussed. But at the end of the day, running cost on the cloud is really a challenge that you need to solve. Your team had to be very understanding of how the costs run and how they implement the most economical and most economically efficient way of running your service. That's why I think this is really important. So running cost and ownership are the most important. Moving on to data security. I put this here because data is very secure on the cloud, and comparing to the historical events, there hasn't been a really serious breach of any of the major clouds. Yes, there have been network breaches, there have been some leaks happen, there have been some problems, yes, but a major breach I never heard of. I never heard of any company suffered from serious data theft or anything on the cloud. However, it has been like some concerns about services outages, maybe some data loss, maybe. That's what I've heard of. And also, as I discussed here, in the advantages or disadvantages is fundamentally secure, but not all. Azure is very secure when it comes to all of the aspect of network and data. Everything is secure. Data is naturally encrypted, naturally by itself encrypted. It's not an option. It's a mandatory to have all of the data encrypted. Network is under control by state-of-the-art firewalls and everything. So, and all of this happen even free of charge. You do not pay for the underground services like this. Backplane services you don't pay for. It's already included in your own operation cost. So data is very secure. But I put it here in the disadvantage for the same reason I discussed. Some business owners do not like the idea of putting their own data on the cloud. That's why I put it here. Even with all the benefits that come with the cloud, some business owners at the end of the day will tell you that they don't prefer to actually upload their own business data on the cloud. They don't like the idea. They want to keep their data safe, secure in a local location. So yeah, this is a consideration that needs to be handled. So I put it in as a disadvantage. And finally, if you are going to use Azure or whatever cloud service provider, you're going to need a really highly talented team to do it. So you are replacing teams here. Yes, your own team is a standard team, but you need some team to be very qualified to run services on Azure for you. This team is not going to handle your own business services. They're not going to handle your applications or whatever, but they need to be aware and very talented of how to use Azure and how to handle service operations, implementation, security, and stuff like this. So these are the list of the points. And at the end of the day, it comes to really factor of comparison and selection of what you can, of what is best for your business. Some companies can even go midway. They don't need to go they don't need to stay all on site. They don't need to go all or full cloud. Many companies are like staying in the middle ground, like having some services on the cloud to save their own running cost and implementation, keeping some stuff close to their chest at their own company. So this is hybrid service implementation is actually happening right now everywhere. So maybe it could be like a transitioning, easy, safer transitioning for companies that have been working for many years, many decades on site. It's not easy to just simply jump to the cloud in one day. So this transition is taking its time, taking slow diversion to go to the cloud, checking everything as they go, a safer route, if I may. So at the end of the day, and I would put my own recommendation here, I would say it like this. And this is just my personal opinion. I'm not saying this is the correct or this is what should be done. I'm just saying this is just based on my own experience and what I have seen through the years. I think cloud options should be used for the starter business owners moving on to the mid-range. If you are a starter business owner starting just today, or you already have your own company and need to upgrade, but you need to start right now and moving on to between the starter and mid-range, cloud is really a good option to use. Cloud is definitely a good option to use because running cost will be a bit challenging, but you will be starting right away. You will have the time to actually develop and focus on your business instead of consuming a lot of your own resources on handling the servers and doing this implementation, stuff like this. So if you are like starting right now, starting a small company, very starting, cloud is really, really my recommendation and my option. Just keep an eye on the running cost, have the team monitor the cost correctly, make the proper selection of what you need, and cloud will be the best option for you to start right now. Instead of paying like hundreds of thousands of cash to actually purchase service from the day one. If you are above mid-range company and moving on to like a larger company with larger resources, larger requirements, and stuff like this, I would say holding your own data center is a better solution. And going on to the more, you have to pay the initial cost because on the long run it will be much better. From day one, right now you already have more than an average company and you need a lot of resources, so it's better to purchase and get your own service right now. Yes, you will have to pay a lot of cash, you have to pay a lot of cash, but it will be worth it. Why? Because once you do this step, you will be no longer paying the running cost, because running large data center on the cloud is probably gonna exceed the cost of the initial cost. The running cost will be huge. I wouldn't recommend that to have it right away. So this is my own personal selection. I'm not saying this is a perfect. There are companies that are holding very big data centers on the cloud. I don't know. I'm just sharing my own personal reference. So we have talked about logistics and benefits, disadvantages, advantages here. Now let's discuss what we have today and what we are gonna do and how to show Azure. So the purpose of this session is to simply show you how to quickly build servers, how to quickly provide services, how to handle network connectivity, how to get things running very fast. And I decided to make it as simple and as quick as possible. I'm not gonna go into really serious services. I was hoping I can show you how to do really advanced stuff, but I decided to split it to other session. So here is our plan. We're gonna host 2 servers, and these servers will be providing simple services. One of them will provide a website, like hosting a website of your company, which includes all of the application you're gonna run. And the other one will be a file share, Windows file share, which will be providing access anywhere to your own staff so they can access their own files whenever they go. And the really nice touch here that these servers will actually run online. I'm not doing this lab in an enclosed lab. We'll actually do it live online right away. And for security, we're gonna place these 2 servers behind the firewall. We're actually gonna go and get one firewall from the cloud. As you can see, I'm just gonna get a file in a moment without actually paying anything at this moment, and place it in, place my servers behind the firewall, handle all the connectivity, provide all the access, provide all the network options, and get things running. This will show you how Azure can actually build servers very quickly. We are doing it in a session time. Imagine what can be done if I am doing scaling and doing implementation for a company in several days. So you will get the idea. So let's move on to the next section. the design we're gonna do, and the implementation steps so we can get our small data center up and running. So I'm gonna be seeing you in a moment.